Hey everyone, Mr. V from MrVeesworld, and thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, you know the deal. Hey guys, this one's for you. They're all for you, actually, mostly. Guys, don't give up. That's the name of the podcast, but it's also what I want to tell you. Don't give up. So many of us men out there are having difficulties dealing with rejection. Okay, listen. Rejection happens to everyone, right? But it's how you handle it that makes you a better person. Okay? We're not always going to be approved. Okay, listen, let me back it up. When you go into a bank and you want a loan for $100,000 to start a new business, odds are you're not going to get approved, right? That's rejection. Right? Most of us can handle that for the most part. But okay, when we talk about an ego dealing with the opposite sex and walking up to a girl or a woman and asking her, to go out with you, and she flat out rejects you, then we leave with our tail between our legs. I'm telling you right now, that is so not necessary. Okay? Here's the reason why. There are so many women in the world, it's unbelievable. And lest we forget that they're around the corner, they're in the libraries, they are in the coffee shops, they are in the nightclubs, they are on the street, they are at the, you name it, they're there. Okay, so one woman shoots you down, some stupid lady on match.com, or excuse me, stupid individual on Plenty of Fish doesn't like your profile or doesn't answer you, your messages, your 4,000 messages, probably because you're stalking her. But other than that, I won't tell anybody. Rejection is just it's a moot point, in my opinion. Move on. It's not necessary. You're wasting too much time dealing with this. And it's a reflection of lack of confidence and lack of self-esteem. You're probably saying, well, yeah, great, Mr. V's World. Who the hell are you to tell me this? Well, I'm letting you know because it's an area that you probably have to work on for yourself. Okay. I don't get anything out of it. I'm just telling you, sharing with you, so you may be able to benefit from that. What I have found and what I do find is how you handle rejection is, as far as the ladies are concerned, you can completely turn that around. And this is another thing. Sorry. It's another thing. You have the power within yourself to turn the situation around. Okay. Because honestly, women primarily I think their egos are far more bruisable, if you will, than ours. You know why? Because everything about them comes down to their self-esteem, which is based on how people feel about them and how they look. Okay. Guys can get a pass in the looks department because we can cover that up with money or having great physiques or being funny or whatever, having a great social circle. But women, they don't get a pass on that. If you don't have a great appearance or a nice rack or a nice body and beautiful hair and beautiful eyes and beautiful skin and all this and all that, and you're sexy and kind of, young and fit, you're working uphill. So gentlemen, when you're being rejected, especially if it's from a mediocre appearing woman, then it's not really you. Okay. It's them. And the hot chicks, they know they're hot, right? And if they're rejecting you based on superficiality, then you don't want that girl anyway. And if she has a good reason to reject you because you're not her type, that's fair game. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. That doesn't mean you have to go home and have 15 margaritas. Otherwise, you're really drowning out what's really happening, which is you don't have enough self-esteem and confidence to walk away from that and just chalk it up as a loss. And that's it. Move on. So Dealing with rejection is not easy because our ego gets in the mix and we take stuff personal when it should not be personal. Okay. Now let's talk about how to turn that around. We all know that women like confidence. Okay. I've talked about this umpteen times and I'll say it again. They really do like confidence. And this is why, of course, the alpha male type and the outgoing crowd pleaser type and some of the asshole bad boy types as well get the women. They get the chicks. They get the girls for better or for worse. Okay. Even when they get rejected, you ever notice they keep on coming. They just keep at it. It's like they have some sort of magical deflector shield, something straight out of Star Trek, deflector shields up or something. So they don't let that deter them. And these girls, man, they'll screw around with your mind because they feel that they can smell it on you on top of it. And I think they get some kind of warped sense of validation knowing that they can put you in your place and reject you because you're coming after them, right? You put your stuff out there. And I'm a firm believer of doing that, by the way, putting it out there. I call it just like, you have nothing to lose. So she don't want to go out with you. She don't want to go out with you. There's like 14,000 other girls around. So ask them. Somebody's going to want to go out with you. So you can turn that around simply by standing on your own 2 freaking feet. Okay. Doesn't mean you have to be a jerk about it. You can be charming about it. You can be confident about it. You can have a pretty cool, witty retort to whatever it is she said that rejected you. Oh yeah, no, I'm busy because I have school, or I'm busy because I have to have a job. And you say, well, how long have you had that problem? And I mean, little quips like that lets her know that you're not a pushover. And who knows, maybe that conversation, that little comeback starts a whole nother conversation. And by the end of that conversation, because you're taking control and ownership of that conversation, she'll see that, hey, this guy's actually kind of cool. Or, hey, he's pretty damn confident. He didn't, his feathers weren't ruffled one bit. And you might surprise yourself, quite frankly. You might come out smelling like a rose. So this whole rejection thing and giving up before you need to, you may want to rethink that strategy, because I think we all have it within ourselves to overcome our inadequacies. And I can tell you, from a person who grew up in the United States his entire life, and by society standards, people view black men, especially, at a deficit, which I think is complete bullshit. I never ever lived by that rude way of conducting myself, and by that rude rule, if you will. However, I'm not going to turn a blind eye and say it does not exist in the world. So through adversity, I have learned just from being around for a while that being rejected based on whatever, I can give you a million reasons or scenarios, but getting back to my analogy about being a black male in the United States, which we as black folks are not always welcome or not always accepted. And we always constantly have to prove ourselves or prove our worthiness for anything. You can be a black person and have 4 degrees. Doesn't matter. You're still considered a second-class citizen in some parts of the United States. So what does this have to do with rejection? It has a lot to do with it. Being resilient is what I'm saying here. Now, if I can tell you this and share this with you on a serious note, I learned through resiliency how to stand on my 2 feet, be confident, and accept that a person in front of me doesn't want to accept me or welcome me in whatever situation, but I find a way, I find some light in that, right? And I try to turn that around to my benefit. So I think we all have it in ourselves once we give ourselves the room to find that inner strength and draw from that inner strength. Now you might say, okay, that's fine and dandy. Philosophically speaking, that's great, but what the hell are you talking about? And how does it have to do with getting rejected from women? Well, if you sit down for like 20 minutes and you literally like write down on a piece of paper if you have to, or think about it and ponder this and ask yourself, what the hell am I good at, if anything? We're all good at something. And when you figure that out, what you're good at, think about how long it took you to be good at it, or you're naturally good at it. And do you do it better than other people? And most likely you do, okay? Because we all have talents. Now, when you get to that space in your head and your brain, or on that sheet of paper that you drew out all these fine qualities about yourself, you notice, yeah, I have fine qualities about myself, okay? No one can take that away from me. So the next time some person or society or a banking institution or whatever wants to shoot you down or reject you, stop the brakes for a minute. You have a finite amount of time, moments in that conversation to turn it around or to put your stamp on it. You know, as we used to say in the Black community in the early 70s, I am somebody. Okay. What does that mean? It means I am somebody. You're trying to tell me I'm not somebody. I am somebody. You know, take great pride in that you are somebody. So if someone wants to reject you, you got a choice. You can walk away or you can stand up for yourself. You know, take it like a man. So on that note, before I get too political and politically incorrect, I'm Mr. V from MrVeesworld, and I really do thank you for listening to this rant. And next time, we'll talk about some really fun stuff. All right, take care of yourself, and I'm out. See ya.